Welcome to the 7th grade video for Standard MS PS3-5 Energy. Let's start by reading the standard and clarifying the expectations for students. MS PS3-5. Construct, use, and present arguments to support the claim that when the kinetic energy of an object changes, energy is transferred to or from the object. What students do need to know. This standard will require the students to support a claim that when kinetic energy in motion, changes, it is transferred to or from that object. What students do not need to know. The assessment limit does not include calculations of energy. So you're not doing any equations. All you're doing is showing that as one goes up, the other goes down. So the transfer of potential energy to kinetic energy. Comparing standards. Let's now explore how this standard will continue in high school and build upon the knowledge learned in middle school. So the middle school standard reads, construct, use, and present arguments to support the claim that when the kinetic energy of an object changes, energy is transferred to or from the object. The high school standard, PS3-1, create a computational model to calculate the change in energy of one component in a system when the change in energy of the other component and energy flows in and out of the systems are known. Let's start out with the phenomenon, inertia beads. So you start out with a beaker filled with a long string of beads, and the teacher can demonstrate this activity and have the students explore why they think it occurred. You just tug on the end of one of the beads that are hanging out, and then they'll see through inertia all of the beads continue to stay in motion, and eventually the beaker is empty. There is a link to a video clip that shows how to do this. Resource 1. Students will create a lab to show how potential energy affects kinetic energy through the use of a wind-up toy. Students will see how energy transfers from potential and kinetic energy through an object. There's a link in the slides to the lab. Resource 2. Energy Skate Park Simulation. In this PhET simulation, students will see how potential energy transfers back and forth to kinetic energy and thermal energy. There's a link to the simulation in the slides. Resource 3, the Bounce Lab. Students will see how the amount of potential energy affects the amount of kinetic energy in this bounce lab. Students can use slow-mo cameras on their phones to get a more accurate bounce back height. There's a link to the lab in the slides. Thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, you can contact the AACPS Science Office at the website below.